From Urban Everyday UK, welcome to A Day in a Life. I'm Joe Kwaku, and behind every face, there is a story waiting to be told. Join us as we explore the diverse tapestry of lives across the UK. From bustling cities to quiet corners, we celebrate the ordinary moments that make life extraordinary. This is A Day in a Life.
Urban Everyday presents A Day in a Life, where we uncover the ordinary. And today, join us as we welcome Victoria Mphanama from South Africa, who's going to share a bit of her life with us. In the month of March is the International Women's Month. And for us at Urban Everyday, for this podcast, A Day in a Life, we have chosen to focus on women and the unique stories and the accomplishment. And I'm excited. I've started this series with young ladies, young women, and I'm excited to have my friend. Actually, I did meet her in Cape Town, South Africa, whilst I was there, Victoria, and she's here with us to share some experience with. So, Victoria, you're welcome. We are thrilled to have you.
Hi, everyone. Let me just say, I am honored to actually be here. I'm also honored that you thought of me regarding this topic. Yeah, so I can provide value in this discussion.
Definitely. It's a day in a life. So we're just digging into your life,
Okay.
And can you start by sharing your journey from graduating with a degree in chemistry to your current role with a municipality in Cape Town?
Okay, so I'm trying to be as transparent as possible.
Yeah.
I wasn't exactly sure what to share, what not to share, should I share everything? But since it's a day in a life, be as transparent as possible and vulnerable as possible. So I started my first year not with chemistry. I started my first year with majors. My major was astrophysics. And then it was compulsory at the time to have physics as your second major because it's astrophysics, so physics is mandatory. So I took that as my major. And if you ask me why, it's simply because I went a trick, which is great in Africa. I went to a camp that basically encourages young women to take careers in aviation. But at the time, I didn't think that being a pilot was possible. My dad didn't even want me to be a pilot or do anything in aviation. So I just thought, maybe I'll take astronomy. So when I got to university, they don't have astronomy. They say it's called astrophysics. And I don't like physics. I wasn't that good at it. I was good with chemistry. So the first year, I was like, let me take this. But first year, you don't do astrophysics. You just take basic subjects. But I took astrophysics as an elective, a first year course, which is not mandatory. And I'm not sure I want to do this. Firstly, I don't think I'm that much into stars and whatnot. And secondly, physics is tough. Physics was very, very tough. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. And so I was like, okay, my second year, you know what, I'm going to do chemistry because I was good at it in high school. But I also had other influences. I had a mentor at church, did chemistry. She was doing chemistry. And another tutor who tutored me applied maths. His major was chemistry and mathematics. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do chemistry. I'm comfortable with it. I do like chemistry. So I took chemistry the following year. It didn't come without any challenges. I think the following, the beginning of the year, I lost my mom. That did affect me, but I managed to pass. And the following, which was 2017, I then lost my dad. So it became quite a challenge. It's all right. It became quite a challenge. I got excluded that year. The year I lost my dad, I got academically excluded, received a letter. So I kind of had to appeal. I'm like, I go. So I sent an appeal letter. My reasons were solid. There's no way they won't take me back. So I came back, repeated again in 2018, basically just repeated the whole year. But 2018, I failed my major, which was chemistry. I passed everything else, failed my major. But because it weighed a lot, they had to send me an exclusion letter to say, you didn't meet the minimum requirements. Yes, you passed everything, but your major, it weighs quite a lot. So I had to then again re-appeal. I appealed me back again. 2019, I passed. 2020, I passed, and that was my final year. So it kind of took, if you count properly, from 2015 to 2020, kind of almost years. 6 years minus the first year, it will be 5 years. So a 3-year degree took me 5 years. So journey. So after that, I looked for a job. I was looking for a job within the pharmaceutical because I wanted to do maybe quality assurance or something in there. So I had an interest in it. I was still trying to figure things out. So my second option was food industry because they also do have quality assurance, quality control. But I did interviews with pharmaceuticals, didn't pass, but I got a job within a food manufacturing company. So I had to move from Cape Town to Ceres, which is like 2 hours away from Cape Town. Very small town. It doesn't even have, everyone is there for work. You're there alone, you're there, friends. I was indoors all the time. It was quite depressing for me. The workplace was depressing. I got bullied at work 2 months in, but I held on. I held till I left. I was like, you know what, the money is not worth it. It's not worth my mental health. So I left 9 months in and I came back to job search in 2022. I kept searching for a job. From May of 2022 to the end of 2022. Nothing. I didn't get it. I was just getting interviews, which gave me so much hope because I was like, okay, I'm getting interviews. Issue here could be an issue of communication because after all, I am shy. Sometimes I struggle expressing myself. I had to work on my communication style, work on my interviewing skills, and did that in 2022. I was about to go home. I got an email from the municipality to say, oh, the job you applied for, do an assessment. After, if you pass the assessment, we'll interview you. So I was scheduled for an assessment, but the day before the assessment, I sent them an email. I'm like, okay, I want to go back to school and do my honors. I went back to school 2023 to do my honors. It's still in chemistry. I did my honors and I passed my honors. Now, the thing is, I had plans of doing my master's, but not exactly in chemistry because I felt like it's a bit limiting. So if it was going to be in chemistry, it's going to be computational chemistry because I feel that broadens my scope. I can do anything. Yeah. So I went to this computational chemistry and, he asked crucial a mini interview. Do I call it an interview or discussion? It's more of discussion. It's okay. I saw your CV. So looking at your transcript, I see that you took courses in humanities, you took courses in commerce. I was that science girl that took courses everywhere. Not just because, but because I felt they were useful. I felt I needed to know about other things other than science. I need to know finances. I need to know maybe how to run a business, something like that. So I took those courses. So he was like, I see you on those courses. Why don't you just pursue a career in that faculty or pursue something that you like? And I was just in shock. I left his room and thinking about it. I'm like, he does give me so many good examples, obviously. He has 3 sons. And I think 2, I just remember they did computer science because he's a computer chemist. So he thought doing computer science would be the best thing. But his dad advised me, like, Eventually, he left his job and he went to pursue linguistics because he's good at that. I think his youngest son is doing music. I don't know what his other son is doing. But all of them, he sort of redirected them to say, do what you love. Do what got me thinking. In as much as I wanted to do a master's, I was all over the place thinking, okay, maybe I'll go to engineering. I was all over the place. And I just said, oh, Lord, what do you want to do? Let me just tell you that the response or the answer didn't come immediately. In 2024, I came back to university to do a VEC job. So just a temporary job. After that, went back home. From February up until April, I was home. And I kept asking the Lord, what do you want me to do? And twice, the Lord, firstly, he said, be still and know I'm God. Second, he's like, just trust me. And I'm like, just trust you. There's just nothing here. I don't understand. Being a young person sitting at home with no vision, it's depressing. But I think I just held on to the word that God gave me. So in April, 2nd April, I remember very well, I got an email from the municipality. They were saying, oh, we have student opportunities. Please send us your CV and your qualifications. So I sent them my CV and my qualifications. May, they invited me for an assessment. I don't even know what the assessment is for, firstly. They don't tell you. Even when they advertise their student jobs, they just say student opportunities. That's what they. So I'm like, I'm going to write this. I wonder what it is about. Got there. Oh, by the way, I was at home. Send an email. I sent back an email. I'm like, oh, I can't come tomorrow. Home. I don't have money for a flight. HR lady called me on the phone. She was like, hey, okay, I saw your email. So unfortunately, do the assessment. So they do that to avoid cheating. You would have to come on site. And then she was like, okay, when can you make it? Because I'm like, I'll make it on a Thursday. So I'll make it a day later. And then she was like, okay, it's fine. I'll give you time. You can a day later. So I took a bus. I arrived there and they sent me an email when I got to Cape Town. They're like, oh, you know what? We understand tired. Dressing come Friday. But I still went. I went and I wrote where the assessment was on data analysis. So theory, still remember a little bit here and there, theory, and then also the practical side of it. I did that. And I think I had left out a few questions, and then the HR lady was like, just answer everything. Don't leave out empty spaces. Answer, attempt to. I think because that does count. So then I answered all the questions, or at least I tried to explain as much as possible. And then April, May, June, July. Was it July? It was June, actually. Yeah, June. Towards the end of June, the same email was like, congratulations. No, I'm jumping guns. I did it, just failing to remember when it was. I think 2 weeks after the assessment, they invited me for an interview. They're like, you passed the assessment. So now I do. So it was just me and the one other guy. So it's two of us. So I do the interview. I really enjoyed that interview, actually, funny enough. And I was actually able to articulate myself. I was like, oh, is this me? And 3 weeks later, they sent me an email to say, congratulations, come and sign your contract. You got the job.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, Lord, clearly you won because of how it went. And I was at home also. I was like, oh, no, I'll try and come, but I'll be a little bit late. They're like, no, it's fine. It's not a problem for you. Yeah, I went to sign the contract, and so I got the job at the municipality. I'm still here today. It's been 7 months now. Yeah, 7 months.
So you're working with them in the capacity as a data analyst?
Yes, in the capacity of a data analysis. However, because I'm working with the municipality, and I'm also an intern, so I have the ability to sort of learn in other areas. I think also to learn in other areas, because ultimately I do not want to end up as a data analyst.
Yeah. Rinaye, your story is so touching, like deep, it's so heartfelt. It's a story of resilience. It's a comeback. It's a story of accomplishment. It's so inspiring. Sure, listeners, what I'm saying, because it's so, and thank you so much for sharing. And thank you so much for sharing, for opening up and just pouring your heart out. I mean, I'm getting all this. You lost your mom, you going to school, first year, you lost your dad, you ventured into, right? And in that space, you realize that no, this was not something that you were really in sync with, and you changed your subject to chemistry. And wow, it's just so touching. Thank you so much for sharing. And in all of this, we've seen how resilient you've been, how you came back, how you bounced back from all of this. And you spoke about the experience of depression. You went through a moment of depression, and what were some of the ways you to bounce back through that phase? I mean, if you're willing to share mental and psychological tension, that space in which you were.
I'm going to try to go back to 2021 when I was doing that job in Ceres, and I was basically alone with no one to talk to. I think I went to the HR because I think the issue got a little bit intense. When I tried to resolve it by myself, I was being undermined.
Yeah, you mentioned that as well. Yes, about bullying.
I was being undermined. I don't know if it was of a small body. I generally do have a small body. I look cuter than my age. So
yeah, but very smart. I really it's how people try to take advantage of people. But yeah, you go.
Yeah, because the lady that she was 33, she was also an intern. So I understand, we have different journeys. You can be internship or whatnot. So that didn't even bother me. But her being that old and bullying me,
Doing an intern, yeah.
it just didn't make sense. And when she confronted, to try to talk to her, we went back and forth, especially on what I think when I lost it is where she was like, I can't be my child, what you do, or something, or you're just a child, something along. And I'm like, I see this is a very impossible situation. And she being older has the upper hand, and she being the extrovert who can easily she has the upper hand. I'm here on my own, I'm isolated.
You know anybody in series. So you found yourself and this was happening.
So I went to HR. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to HR because the thing that she's attacking me for makes absolutely no sense. And she's an adult. I don't understand why she cannot communicate to me. She felt that I offended her, whether intentionally or unintentionally. There are ways to deal with problems. So we just took it to HR, spoke to the HR. Was the lady actually helped me find accommodation there? And I think at that time, she sort of took off the capacity of actually being, and took on a capacity of actually being, I don't know, like a friend, a shoulder to cry on. And I told her everything that happened, and I actually cried in that office. I cried. I think I just had a lot in my heart. I cried, and then she was like, okay, do you maybe have a session or what? I tell people about bullying or something in a way that if I do it, it might backfire on you. You know, she was being so considerate. And do you want to go talk about it so you can have this issue resolved? And I'm like, I talked to the manager about it because I just want the issue resolved. I don't want any disciplinary hearing. And the manager, and then she went and spoke to the manager. They called her firstly and then called me and called us in together. I think eventually we came to the root cause of the problem and we just apologized to each other and we just moved on from there. I did isolate myself after that, and I think she did feel guilty because she just kept saying, "Oh, please talk, please talk." We didn't even, I just felt there's nothing to laugh about. And I think she just felt bad. But in any case, I think I would speak to my sister here about it. I think that also helped. I told her how I felt. I told her that I want to leave this place. But me being me, I'm not that open. I'm not taking them to God. Usually just talking to God and venting. And I've always felt that has always helped. Talking to someone always helps. So talking to the HR lady and her opening and allowing me to cry actually did help quite a lot. Knowing that at least I have someone, I'm not alone. Because everybody else in the lab is just like on her side or just not saying they can clearly see that I'm being bullied here. So that helped quite a lot for me to run up until 9 months. Because that was very long.
Yeah, 9 months. Yeah, so faith was a thing that you, as you
Yes.
mentioned, you kept mentioning God and praying and all of that. So you prayed to God, you kept meditating and all of that. That was one thing you did. And then also pouring your heart out. I mean, going to this HR, speaking with her, becoming like a confidant or somebody who you felt with and vulnerable. You were able to cry and pour out your heart and all of that. That also really helped you, and then she escalated it to all of that happened. And also speaking to your sister about it, you said, was also one of this. So these are ways that, so you had a kind of, even though you didn't have any family or like person there, you eventually had some form of support, or you're able to rely on the HR, which cascaded into an administrative kind of thing that helped you to overcome that. How does it feel to be bullied? Maybe there's someone listening to us and the person doesn't know, or the person is probably going through something similar, but is not sure what's happening. And maybe you have something to share with this person who finds themselves in this space.
Firstly, being bullied at work is not. Remember, you spend most of your day, Monday to Friday, at work.
That's true.
And we hours, about 9 hours. So from 5, you were with people who are actually bullying you. It's hard. It's really hard. You to work. You spend most of your day feeling down. Probably you go to the bathroom and you feel, I don't know, you just have so many thoughts running through your mind. And the worst part to work with these people. You have to talk to them because you work with them. It's tough. I think a way to hate this, deal with the situation. If I was met with impossible people, deal with the situation, confront the situation, but in a respectful manner. If you are mad, angry, or whatnot, just try and calm down and approach the issue. When you come, talk to the person who's bullying you alone, far away from everybody. Try and understand why are they bullying you. Is there anything that you did to them? Sometimes you find that there is actually something that you did that was subtle. You did wrong. Maybe you made a comment, but you didn't mean it that way. Or sometimes some people just hate you. Some people just hate you because you're thin and they're not. They hate you because you dress well and they don't. Like simple things. Or they hate you because maybe manager likes you, or I don't know.
They're just they wish they had, but they don't.
Yeah, some people are just jealous, and there's just nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing. Honestly, you can try and talk to the people, talk to the person, but truthfully is that if such bullying stems from jealousy, there's nothing you can do. You just have to ignore it. If you really, really need the money, you'll have to ignore it. Ignore it. Get someone to talk to. I think that does help, so that work can be at least bearable for those 8 hours that you're in work. Otherwise, if you're able to, you can quit.
But we don't want to be doing that because, like you're saying, you've been for a long time only to get this job, and then this person is making it a stressful experience for you. I'm not sure if you've, beside this experience of sharing it with your HR, whether you've also come out to speak about it like this again. So yeah, maybe this helps.
Initially, I couldn't talk about it. I would feel like I want to cry. So, but I think the more I spoke about it, the more I healed.
Thank you so much for sharing. So I just want to go deeper into your story. That you spoke about the whole experience about school, losing your parents and having nowhere else to go and having to reapply when the school had to kick you out because you missed a year because of the passing of your parents and all of that, you had to reapply again, or yeah, and they had to let you back and all that. And having graduated, now you were looking for a job, and the whole scene, as you indicated, was very stressful getting a job. Do you feel that being a woman or a young Black South African lady had something to do with the challenges of finding a job? I don't know, or because of the kind of jobs that you were looking for in maybe chemistry or in STEM, or I don't know, but I just want to understand the whole situation.
Yeah, with getting a job. So firstly, it has to do with what you studied. There are people who study maybe things like statistics, mathematics, computer science, all those. They tend to get jobs quite easily, mostly in science. It could be they're just too specialized. It could also be an issue of maybe the job market. There's just not enough. What I've noticed is that when I was applying, there's just not enough chemistry jobs out there. Let me just speak within this context, not enough. You find one post, maybe you find 5,000, 10,000 people applied for that
Wow,
post.
wow.
I'm just giving an estimate, but it can get to over 5,000 people. Imagine we're graduates. How many people graduate with a degree in chemistry nationally? So it's either BSc chemistry or analytical chemistry. And usually what employers would do, they would either say diploma in analytical chemistry / BSc in chemistry. Do you understand that where we are now competing? And there had been this thing going around that usually employers prefer people who did analytical chemistry because their work is more practical. I mean, we do practicals, but I guess practical than what we do. So there was that aspect. So I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that you're a woman or a man. It just has to do with what you studied. Another thing, it also has to do with how you market yourself, how you layer your CV, how you write your cover letter, things like that, because also there's issues with the application tracking system. So sometimes you apply because you feel you qualify, but maybe your CV, the tracking system just couldn't read your CV, so it gets thrown out. So it doesn't even get to HR. So so there's that issue also. Again, you're competing who knows how to hack the system. Like I met this guy who literally has an application tracking CV. He just puts the keywords in the job description, and he easily gets interviews.
Wow.
There are people who to hack the system. So I think also you just need to learn how to hack the system. You need to know how to sell yourself through a CV.
So, okay.
And another thing is also not knowing how to write skills. So you fresh graduate, did a BS in chemistry. You don't know what your skills are, except you have laboratory skills, maybe report writing skills. But it's beyond that. There's quite a lot of skills that you learn there. So you also need to learn how to communicate with skills. Because if you don't know how to communicate with those skills, even with a master's, it will be difficult for you to get a job. And the job market is just bad. I'm sure you know that the unemployment rate is quite high.
It's true.
Yeah, I think maybe sitting at 33% or something.
Wow. Thank you so much. This is truly a day in a life to yours. Thank you so much for sharing with us such deep, intimate experiences of your story. While you have strong background in chemistry, you're now working in a different field, right? So what prompted this transition from chemistry into now data analysis?
While it may seem that I changed industry because of lack of job opportunities, that's not actually quite 100% true.
Okay.
So I think for me, I do does he want me to do? I think ultimately for me, it had always been let God rather direct me, right? Than me going to where God doesn't want me. Because anyway, it just won't work out. So when I prayed about it, okay, let me just go back actually. So I realized that I don't chemistry. That because I just felt like for me it wasn't fulfilling. Yes, I like it. Yes, when I buy food or whatnot, I looked at the ingredients. When I buy lotion, I look at the ingredients to see what's in there. But I don't like being in the lab like that. I don't like the environment. For me, it was too restricted. It was too restricted. It was too regulated. Another thing is I would feel sick inside those labs because the chemicals are just heavy. Get nauseated, get dizzy, get a headache. Like if someone opens a strong chemical, I'm starting to get sick. I don't even want to be in the lab anymore. So those are the things that kind of prompted me. Not only that, I just wanted to feel fulfilled in the thing, in the job that I'm going to do. So when the municipality job came, I felt a peace in my heart. I felt a peace in my job that I should take. So I took the job, and the money is quite small. And mind you, I know I didn't explain everything. Before this, I was actually at another job in Johannesburg, but I was undergoing training, which at the end, I was actually going to get paid more than what I'm getting paid. I knew how my municipality pays interns. Terrible, very small. But I think for me, I was just looking at the bigger picture. I was looking at, okay, this could be it. I feel in my home. So municipality is all about service. I think that in essence that speak to helping people, helping communities. And it's something that personally within me I desire and I find fulfilling. Yeah. So I just also wanted something that I can help people at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think I get it. I really can relate to what you said about you found that it was too restrictive working in the chemistry or in the labs, regulated, and the chemicals were too strong. I initially wanted to go into medicine, right? And I transitioned. When I started practicing psychology, I wanted to go into mental health psychology. Yeah, but I also felt that it was, there's no innovation, there's no place or to. I felt it was also quite restrictive for me, which was why I didn't go into that kind of psychology, but I came into social psychology where I felt gives you room to express or to be innovative in the way that you support people or you interact with people or change attitude and perception or give you that kind of freedom. So yeah, that's what I chose with some form of connection there. So I really feel you on looking at the bigger picture. Something really stood out for me as you spoke. Do what you love. When you interacted with your supervisor, who became like a mentor, more or less, doing what you love. And I feel that theme, your narrative and your story. Look at the bigger picture and how faith also helped you to make decision about service and finding fulfillment in what you do. So thank you for sharing this as well. It really helped. Do you feel that the analytical and problem solving skill that you developed in chemistry, do you find this being applicable in your work in the municipality?
Yes, 1,000% yes. So I'm going to speak in the science side of it. You will learn problem solving. You learn problem solving. Glad that I went into science because you can practically do anything. You can go anywhere. If I want to work in the bank, I can work in the bank. When I work in IT, I can work in IT. You can practically do anything. As to compare, if I had done BCom in accounting, I can't go into science. They have to start over again. So yes. So I my analytical skills quite, and because also I'm doing data analysis in there. It also helped when I was actually doing that assessment. I actually recently went to do an assessment again for a job, and they were basically testing your problem solving skills. There was nothing I could have studied. Like they just you case study after case. They just want to see how do you think can you solve a problem.
Okay.
And I think having a science background helped quite a lot. There's quite a lot of skills that you actually pick up when you do science.
Can you describe your role with the municipality and the types of projects you're involved in? That's if you like to.
Yeah, we do mostly tenders. It's quite broad. I'm also still learning because there's quite a lot of things that happen. But would maybe, for example, analyze tender performance. And when I say tender performance, maybe like how long do they take to finish specification stage? Because when you go through a tender, there are specifications to meet.
Yeah.
Then go to another stage. So maybe currently I can say that's what I was doing, a dashboard on that to see how many days do they take. And on average, a department, how many days they take, on average, are they being efficient? Are they not being efficient? Things like that. So because I'm still an intern, still learning a lot of things and to maybe get into other areas.
Sounds interesting. Yeah. Quality control and knowing you're going to do wonders. I think I've always told you that you're just an amazing lady, and I know that the sky's the limit. Who are some of the women that, if they are women, who have inspired you in your journey, both in science and in the public service, or generally in your life? Do you have people who you draw inspiration from?
A very difficult question. I get inspired by probably everyday people, everyday women. I'm just gonna quickly give an example. There's this lady at work. She inspires me, but she doesn't know she inspires me. And she's just a normal human being. She bought a house at an estate, isn't it mistaken? Bought a house. She has one child. She's in her 30s, mid 30s. And for me, I think I was just inspired by how she chose to buy a house over. And each time when we have to come to work, luckily we only go to work once a week. She takes a bus from in my city, to work. It's quite a distance. That inspires me. Someone who's able their finances to make sound financial decisions to say, you know what, I'm gonna get a house over one. She's also a worker of ours. And I don't know, she just inspires me. So she had been working for 18 years as I think she did chemical engineering. So she was working for ESCOM for 18 years. And now she is working for the municipality. And I don't know what I can say what inspired me. Maybe because she's to get here, held on for 18 years, working for ESCOM, and then came here. But I think also because she's just smart. She's smart, and she always has in her head. But it's not that. It's also how she handles people. Because she let me just say she's we do have a manager, but she's like the one I directly answer to.
Okay, so your line manager.
No, I actually have a supervisor, and then there's her. She's like,
okay.
So yeah, but it's the way she approaches. It's the way she talks to people. It's the way she's standing. And I was just like, if this woman actually becomes a manager, she would be a very good manager. She actually inspires me. Like, so I get inspired by like everyday people. I get inspired by whether big or small, the decisions that they make. Like, I don't want to mention them, but you know how she chose to go do teaching with a degree. Like, how brave of you, because
I feel you're a very pragmatic person. You think about impact. These are the vibes I'm getting from you. Yeah, thank you so much. And anything you'd like to share, parting words, you want them to check out something, a book you want them to check out, a word of encouragement for a lady. It's the International Women's Month. Any word for a younger lady out there or anybody for that matter?
I do. And I think what I would say, because I believe the conversation is centered around STEM, women in STEM. I would say that if you do feel that you're studying what to do and you're towards the end, do complete it. And just rather look at what value you've gained, what skills you've gained, see how you can work around whatever you want to do that you want to do. The world has changed quite a lot, right? It's no longer, oh, you study chemistry, we don't want chemistry people. It's more, oh, what skills do you bring? We don't care if you did chemistry, we don't care. We just, can you do the job? What skills do you have to bring? And I think what I can advise is working on your skills. Work on your skills. If you have passions, work on that. Work on your gifts. I know there are some passions that maybe don't bring money. Also looking at the fact that we live in an economical world, you can do them as a side thing, and then eventually work your way into that when you're stable. I would also advise paying it forward. Pay it forward. If you can, help if you can, whatever that you do, because I believe some knowledge sharing. I believe value. Everybody has something to offer, by the way. Don't think you don't have anything to offer. You do have what you can do and offer that to communities over there that need help. Yeah, I help people here and there with CV, maybe rewrite their CVs for them, because I know that there are people who actually finish high school, go to college or university, but they still don't know how to write a CV. They still write it in old school way where they still put their ID number and their gender. And I'm like, it's 2025, how? So then I would just rewrite everything. I just look for a template. It doesn't take me much because the AI, I just look for them. I take a break, write everything for them. If someone needs me to help them to apply somewhere on a website, I will do that. You just give me your details. I do that for you. I'd help where you can.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I feel for our listeners, the deep threads of intimate themes that you shared would really connect all of us. I mean, most of the things you've shared, we all have we've experienced bits and pieces of all of this. And I feel that it's offering value to all of us. And thank you so much for taking us, deep into your life and sharing this with us. You're very inspiring. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. So I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to A Day in the Life from Heaven Every Day. I'm your host, Dijo Kwaku. Every day's a story waiting to be written. Join us next time as we continue to explore the human experience. Subscribe to A Day in the Life for more inspiring stories and share this episode with someone whose story deserves to be heard.